Hello everyone, welcome to my Fall 2012 Slatkin & Co. White Barn Candle Company Bath & Body Works 2012 collection haul, overview, and review. This is just the start of their fall releases for their home fragrance collections, and it's pretty interesting how they've got things going. I purchased these from a test store today. They had quite a few candles out, a lot of returning favorites, some new candles. If you've seen a list that people have been talking about here on YouTube and a list that's been going around, that's accurate. It's what I saw today. The only exception of something that was listed that I didn't see was I did not see a Maplewood bonfire. Other than that, it was pretty much spot on what everyone has said as far as returning favorites. I do know that they're going to have significantly more than this. You know, of course, your cinnamon, sweet cinnamon pumpkin will return, other things like that, and they'll have hopefully more specific lines that are very clear as to the buckets that the candles fall into, but that's unclear at this point. It seemed interesting to me that, you know, in the spring and summer they had very clear boardwalk, tropical drinks, fresh market collection, fresh blooming, whereas here they've got two separate lines, but there's really no rhyme or reason to what falls in what, and a lot of it seems to be just testing the marketing of them. I'll get more in depth. I think I'll probably do a part 2 of the video that's more in depth, discussing sort of the marketing behind it and the branding. But just really quickly before we get into the scent descriptions and the review of the scents, it looks that they're doing this line on the right that some places is called the coffee shop treat collection, but there are definitely things in there that aren't coffee shop. They're doing that as a standard silver lid Slatkin & Co. scented candle. The lids say Bath & Body Works. But then you get over here and they're branding these gold lids, Bath & Body Works on the lid, and they're calling them White Barn scented candle, and it's called the White Barn collection. And on the bottom of the candle and everywhere there's no mention of Slatkin & Co. whatsoever. Now the interesting thing is that it's not just returning classics from, you know, say 3 or 4 years ago when they used the White Barn Candle Co. Name more often, because you've got scents that were brand new last year, like Marshmallow Fireside, that returned in the White Barn packaging. So it seems that maybe Slatkin is going to maybe go by the wayside, or has just become really just a name for marketing now and not so much the company or man behind the scents. I could be totally wrong, just speculation. One of the managers mentioned that they're actually having a conference call to discuss home fragrance and branding this week, so maybe there will be more news that starts to come out about that. But again, could be just that they're testing, you know, different things to see what sells. Also, they're really interesting, I think, worth noting, is that there were a few scents, or at least one, leaves, that I don't have here because they only had a single wicks, but they actually had leaves in 2 different packagings in both collections. There was one that had a photo of a bridge, the wax was white, had the White Barn logo and the gold lid, and then there was another that just had brown wax, it said leaves on it, and the Slatkin & Co. name. So to me that seems like they're really just seeing which sells better, but super weird, interesting. Last fall they had a really well-rounded line, and so far it seems kind of random this year, but interesting stuff, and again, you know, leave it to them to always keep us guessing and to keep interesting things coming along. So again, I'll get more in-depth to sort of the repackage or the, you know, the delineation between the different scents of where they fall, or why something like salted caramel falls under White Barn and not the coffee shop treats collection, in the part 2 of this video for the folks who are really interested in that sort of thing. But for anyone who just wants to know what are the scents, what are they like, what do they remind you of, what should you buy, let's get into that right now. So first up, we've got cinnamon nut bread. Now this is a photo not of bread, it's like a cinnamon roll, but again, that's sort of par for the course. There's some, you know, random surprises along the way a lot of times with Slatkin. It reads, as warm and comforting on a cold fall day, fresh baked shortbread with cinnamon, buttercream, and chopped nuts. Now shortbread, I didn't think was like a nut bread. I thought shortbread was a harder sort of cookie, or kind of crust kind of, you know, baked good. I'm not way into baked goods, but, you know, if something's really good, I will purchase it, obviously, with this and the cinnamon sugar. And this smells, it's really nice. It smells real. It smells definitely along the lines of when they say nut bread. You know, I get that sort of like spiced, not really spicy, but a spiced bread, Sort of somewhat generic, like a mix you could buy at a store. But to me, I get a strong banana scent to this, like a banana nut bread. So it's nice. It really does smell like a true banana nut bread, and it's not just random notes thrown together, but it smells truly like a banana nut bread, like you'd want it to be. It smells legitimate, but it doesn't smell anything like the label would suggest just by looking at it. And I really don't get spiced or cinnamon in there. I get a banana nut bread, but not bad. But I just don't. I think they missed the name with that one. Then we've got Autumn Day, and I think these labels are really pretty. It's kind of interesting how they really are changing things every season. A crisp autumn medley celebrating the changing seasons and the beauty of the harvest with notes of fresh-cut cedar, juicy fig, and sandalwood. And this one, I'm half happy to report and half disappointed that it's just a repackage of Acorn and Fig from last year. I'm happy because I love that scent. I'm glad that it's back. But when I heard Autumn Day, I was excited for maybe something that was more, a little bit of corn or wheat or something closer to like the harvest sort of sense that you got with Yankee or the autumn. Autumn Harvest, Autumn Day. They have Nature's Paintbrush, things like that are really conceptual scents that I was hoping for. I guess you could consider this a conceptual scent, but I've smelled it before, so I wasn't super excited. But it is a great scent. Hopefully it'll sell maybe better this year since it doesn't have the odd name. Then we've got Farmstand Apple. Also, just for folks who are into the labeling and that sort of thing, these labels are sort of a soft matte finish, more similar to the Boardwalk collection than the drink collection. It's not embossed, and it's not really super shiny either. So, Farmstand Apple is the sparkling orchard favorite, is reminiscent of a bright sunny day picking apples with friends with notes of Macintosh apple, pear blossom, and oak. I don't think this is a straight-up repackage of Autumn Apple. Very similar. It's also not gingham apple. I smelled that side by side, and gingham is definitely much sweeter. This is really nice. I mean, with Slatkin and apple scent, you really can't go wrong. They do really well with that all the time. It's got oak. I don't really get a woodsy scent. I don't get a leaf scent. I don't get. I was thinking almost maybe it would be like the. I forget what it was called. It was the antibacterial last year. If it was called Autumn Leaves or something, it was like that green pocket backer soap that was a little more dirty than apple, sort of almost like the Leaves candle. But this is really nice. There might be a little more, I'd say probably actually. There's definitely more pear in this one, the pear blossom. Almost the pear blossom that you'd find, I think, in drenched apple flour. But really nice. Can't go wrong with their apple. Next up, we've got Cider Lane. And this one surprised me the most. This one is a surprise hit for me, and I think it's going to be super popular. Pretty label there, and it reads, as sweet as the trip to the local orchard each year, a delicious fall blend of mulled cider, warm caramel, and sweet cinnamon. I was expecting this to be like spice cider or cranberry cider or caramel apple, all of which are good, classic, standard scents, but not really anything super exciting. But this is all that and more. It's really, oh man, it's really incredible. It is heavy on the caramel, which, if it was called caramel apple cider, I don't know that I would have, well, I would have smelled it, of course, but I don't know that I would have been as into it. But it really smells like a true apple cider, not so spiced, with caramel in it, or caramel, whatever you want to call it, but it's more in the background, and it's not a buttery sort of buttercream caramel or like a creamy bakery caramel. It's a true sweet, like a sweet caramel. It's not whipped, and I hate to compare it to like a Starbucks drink, but if you've had their caramel apple or spice, what do they even call it, hot apple cider with caramel in it, it really smells exactly like that. It's incredible. It's one of those scents that they've just hit it on. It doesn't smell imitation. It smells spot on, and it's fantastic. I think that's going to be a hugely popular scent this year. Really good. Next up, two returning favorites from last year. Cinnamon Sugar Donut, which the label, I liked it better last year. This is dark, and you can't really make out the donuts what's what, but whatever. Share the delight with a homemade vanilla cake donut covered in sugar crystals and crushed cinnamon. Same amazing scent as last year. Cannot get enough of that. And then infamous Apple Crumble. Kind of a cool, I like the logo there. It's a little more like, you know, Brooklyn bakery as opposed to just a down-home country shop. And it says here, the perfect way to chase away an autumn chill, baked Granny Smith and Macintosh apples topped with vanilla crumble. Vaguely different note, but same incredible scent. Same color wax for those interested. The wicks seem to be short and fat, so hopefully they'll burn well. Not that that always makes a difference, but hopefully, you know, I think I'm going to test that before we hit fall just to see what it does. Got 4 minutes here to run through these. Of course, I'm always taking forever. We've got here, I'll give you some close-ups of White Barn Scented Candle Fresh Balsam. Really strange. We got fresh balsam in the fall, and it's a different color wax this year. The notes are pretty similar, but this time we're calling it a clear fall morning. Eucalyptus, fir needles, and cedarwood musk notes. It's the fresh balsam that you either love or hate, just repackaged. You've got, I'm going to get through these ones we know. Mahogany Teakwood, which has seen many forms. It's been Indian mahogany and bergamot. It's been mahogany leather, mahogany teakwood. Came out last year as a test scent with black pepper bergamot, originally Peruvian black pepper and bergamot. And now those two are coming back in this White Barn line. So again, gold lids, Bath & Body Works. And this one reads, the scents of fine woods, mahogany, cedarwood, and oak, highlighted by delicate lavender, which I don't get, and geranium, which I don't get. Conjure up an escape to a cozy library on a chilly fall day. Okay, whatever. Really, really great. Love that scent. Glad it's back. The other returning favorite that, of course, we knew was coming back, whether it came as White Barn or Slatkin & Co., or they could call it whatever they would want, and it would be a huge seller. Marshmallow Fireside. You know it, you love it. A sweet toasty end to a long cold day. Toasted marshmallows, vanilla cream. Rich smoldering woods. Perfect description. Rich smoldering woods. Love it. I'm going to have to get quite a few more of those. Then 3 new scents, as I apologize if I am rushing through this as usual. White Barn No. 1, Nutmeg and Spice Scented Candle. The note, warm and cozy fragrance inspired by an elegant mixture of nutmeg and all of autumn's very best spices. You expect it to be a creamy nutmeg, or kitchen spice, or vanilla spice, but it's not. It's almost, I would say, I think it reminds me of the aromatherapy vanilla cinnamon from the Sleep line last fall. It's soft, it's warm. Maybe it could be the spiced biscotti scent. It was a test scent last fall. I like it a lot more than I expected I would. It's soft. It'll be good for layering. Nutmeg, a little bakery, just really classic. Which, you know, White Barn No. 1. Whether that is their signature scent from years ago, I have no idea, but it evokes that sort of classic scent. Then you've got Brandied Pear, kind of an ugly wax color, but interesting label there, Brandied Pear. And that is, treat yourself to the fragrance of a favorite fall dessert, poached autumn pears drizzled with sugared brandy and topped off with vanilla cream. I don't get it so much bakery. You really get a strong alcohol note in this, which I guess is the brandy. I do get some pear. It almost reminds me of a Manhattan, you know, whiskey and bitters and vermouth. It's a bit of a grower, but I really like it. I think lit, it'll smell really, really nice. Great fall scent. I like that they're going sort of out there, away from just super sweet things. Not some candied pear or pear with, you know, pear and apple like usual. Really interesting, really nice. And then similar to that, they only had this in a single wick, and I figured I liked it enough and to review it that I'd get the single wick, and that is Plum Wine Amber. And that reads, a splendid blend of mulled wine, golden amber, and purple plum creates a fragrance that recalls the richest of fall days. The more I smell it, the more it kind of smells a little bit like a generic Signature Collection scent. But I really like the difference of this plum compared to a lot of the other scents that were under the same, you know, sort of headings or ideas. Sweet, I don't get much wine, maybe some amber, a little candy, a little juice-like, but it's nice. We'll see how it turns out. I wouldn't miss it if I didn't have it. Anyhow, we are getting close to the end of the video. Again, I think probably in another day or two, I'll do a new video, throw on some additional thoughts and photos that I took of the leaves to compare the candles. But until then, please comment, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.